Andrew Cuomo and 14% for Curtis Sliwa. But it is important to note 6% are undecided. Another 3 refuse to answer. And almost 1 in 5 Sliwa supporters say they could change their minds. In other words, this race is not over. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett has all of today's developments from the campaign trail.
Thank you. Zohran Mamdani is maintaining a big lead in the race for City Hall, and Andrew Cuomo seems unable to move the needle. But the number of undecided voters has doubled. A Quinnipiac poll released this afternoon shows a Democratic nominee with 43% of likely voters, followed by Cuomo with 33%, Republican Curtis Sliwa with 14%, and 6% undecided. Compare that to 3 weeks ago when Quinnipiac gave Mamdani 46%, Cuomo had 33%, and Sliwa had 15% with 3% undecided. Quinnipiac poll assistant director Mary Snow.
One thing that did stand out to us is that there's been a slight increase in the number of people who are on the fence, the undecideds. And that suggests that there could be movement in these final days.
The results would indicate that the former governor has failed to build support. He admits he can't win without most of Sliwa's voters, but the poll gave Cuomo a glimmer of hope. Mamdani's support remains solid, and so does Cuomo's. But while 81% of Sliwa's voters are unlikely to change their minds, 19% said they might, which explains why Cuomo is campaigning hard in the conservative enclave of Staten Island today.
You now get down to the last week. They're starting to focus. They're starting to learn who Zohran really is and what he has said and what he stands for and what the Democratic Socialist agenda is all about.
Sliwa won Staten Island 4 years ago. Cuomo, he insists, will come up short.
I think people in Staten Island know that both him and Zohran are coming there to get the votes, but they've never been there before. And I guarantee you after the election, they'll never be on Staten Island again. I'm Staten Island strong, through and through.
Mamdani lost 3 points in the poll, but still leads by double digits and appeared confident, campaigning with bodega owners in the Bronx today.
I'm running on a BEC agenda. It's not a bacon, egg, and cheese. It's bringing economic change. Thank you. With some jalapenos on the side.
And joining us now is James Vaca. He's a professor at urban studies at Queens College and a former New York City Council member from the Bronx who served 3 terms. Mr. Vaca, thank you for joining us today.
You
know,
having me.
well, it's great to have you here. We just saw the new poll out today that still has Mamdani maintaining that double-digit lead over Cuomo and Sliwa. What do you think at this point, what do the 2 candidates need to do, Cuomo and Sliwa, to convince voters? Do they need to make any strategic moves at this point? Because time is running out. We're less than a week to go until Election Day.
I think you're going to see both of them out throughout the city, going into where they think voters are receptive to them and to their constituencies. You mentioned Governor Cuomo was in Staten Island.
Right.
Governor Cuomo was also in senior citizen centers in the Bronx yesterday. I noted that. Well, older voters are looking like they tend to vote for Governor Cuomo. You see Mr. Mamdani in Democratic strongholds. He is the Democratic nominee, so he's going to go to neighborhoods where he did well in the primary and where turnout is very important. And I think that that's what has to be stressed. Whether it's Mr. Sliwa or Mr. Cuomo or Mr. Mamdani, they are going to try to turn out who they've identified as their voter base. They know where they can expect to get votes. And they're going to be reminding those people to come out and vote, reminding them of early voting and of Election Day. And turnout, get out the vote, is what you will see a lot now and Election Day.
Yeah, that ground game and getting people excited to vote. Let me ask you this. While Mamdani still has a comfortable lead, those double digits, he did lose a little bit of support since earlier this month. There has been a slight increase in the number of undecided people. Is this a sign that there is a major shift happening?
It may not be a sign of that, or it may, but to be honest with you, when you have elections where one candidate is significantly ahead and others are behind, those type of races tend to get closer as Election Day approaches. People make up their mind at the last minute. People change their minds. I know many people. I ask them, have you early voted yet? And they say, no, we're going to wait to election day. That indicates to me that they've not made up their minds for sure. I tell my students, I say, if you want to vote early voting, do it. It's great. But understand that if you change your mind, the train has left the station. And that's what I tell young people today. Oftentimes they've come to me in the past saying that they regretted to go early vote because they changed their mind. They changed their mind because candidates are making last minute appeals, bringing up issues, and people are getting more knowledgeable of the positions of the candidates because they're out there more. On social media, in local press, they're on citywide networks. They're really getting out the message. And you know what? Sometimes people don't focus until the closeness of election day.
Well, we are certainly close now. You know, Mr. Vaca, and speaking of changing your minds, the poll also revealed that 19% of Sliwa voters said they may change their minds, which is really creating an opening for Cuomo. But is this still too much of an uphill battle for Cuomo at this point?
Well, 19%, it could be. It could be. If that number goes up, that would be favorable for Mr. Cuomo. However, if that number goes down, it's going to hurt Mr. Cuomo. So Mr. Sliwa is going to do all he can to retain his Republican support, or his support beyond the Republican Party that he may have over the years. He's been active in the city. So can we have an answer to that question? I think that will be an analysis that we do right after the election as to how people voted and why they voted. People go and vote for different reasons also. Some people are voting based on one issue. Some people are voting on a multitude of issues. And every voter has a different criteria that determines how they vote.
You know, you mentioned where some of the candidates were today campaigning. Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa were both on Staten Island. Cuomo certainly doing what he can to attract support from Republicans. Do you think Cuomo's latest attacks on Sliwa, calling him unqualified and saying he cannot win, you vote for Sliwa, you're voting for Mamdani, is this strategy working?
I think that the attack that he cannot win will have an impact on some people who really and truly don't want Mr. Mamdani and who may not like Mr. Cuomo so much, but they feel that that is better than Mr. Mamdani. And on the other hand, there are many Democrats who may not like Mr. Cuomo and they're voting for Mr. Mamdani. So it becomes, what is the criteria a voter uses when they vote? They have different things in their mind. Some will vote because they want an experienced person. Some will vote because of public safety. Some will vote because they want change, and affordability is their criteria. So yes, every voter has issues that touch them in a different way.
Well, meanwhile today, Mamdani was campaigning in the Bronx, where he was endorsed by the United Bodegas of America, really driving home the whole affordability issue. There are 14,000 bodega owners represented by this union. Do you think this endorsement suggests his message of affordability is resonating with small business owners as well?
I think the message of affordability is something that all the candidates have to address, and I think it resonates with people, absolutely. The cost of groceries is unbearable to a lot of people. We now face a discontinuation of food stamps due to the federal deadlock that we have. Rent is so high. So I think that all the candidates have tried to speak to those issues of housing, rent, what we do with the cost of living.
You know,
Mr. Mamdani has made that a cornerstone of his campaign from the days of the primary also. So, yes, affordability does weigh on people, just like I think public safety weighs on a lot of people as well.
You know, and speaking of this endorsement by the United Bodega owners, this was actually an about face for this union because they were originally against Mamdani's plan to create this network of the 5 city-owned grocery stores. If you recall, they were saying that it was foolish and harmful to their business. So do you think that he's winning over some voters who were once opposed to him?
I think that the bodega workers perhaps had a discussion with Mr. Mamdani. I think if Mr. Mamdani does the grocery store proposal that he indicates, I think he's going to want to bring people to the table who have an interest in that, or who are stakeholders. And I think that the bodega workers may feel that they can be at the table and have input into it. And I'm just speculating, but I would think that any mayor who makes a proposal so significant as that would anticipate having stakeholders at the table and have those discussions before implementation. That would just make common sense.
Right. Well, Mamdani is certainly the front runner here, so he is taking on the heat from all sides. MTA Chair Janno Lieber today was really pushing back on Mamdani's policy of free buses, saying he wants to make sure people with limited income get priority, that the rich aren't just making use of these buses. And Mamdani could be underestimating how much this whole plan is going to cost. That's according to Janno Lieber. What do you say about this?
Well, the MTA has to be brought into those discussions. I saw Janno Lieber's remarks. He's a well-respected person, and of course, he's the head of the MTA. So these ideas, these ideas could be discussed in a way that results in other efforts. I can only tell you right now, we have certain programs that perhaps should be looked at, like the Senior Citizen Half Fare and the Fair Fare program. It may be that free buses may not be happening within the next year or so. It could be an objective of the next mayor. But I think that the MTA today poured some salt on it, and I think that they were a little bit not supportive. And I think that's something that if Mr. Mamdani wins, he's going to have to govern. And if he's going to have to govern, he's going to have to be sitting down with the MTA and say, okay, how do we do this? And how much will it really cost? And what will be the impact on service and the entire system?
Yeah, it's going to require a lot of conversations, a lot of support, because if he does win, he's going to feel the heat from voters saying, you promised us this, you promised us that. And we'll see how he is able to deliver on those promises if he, in fact, wins. James Baca, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your insights.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And this week, we have been taking a look at where the candidates for New York City mayor stand on many key issues. Tonight, we want to focus on an issue that will directly impact more than 900,000 New Yorkers. We are, of course, talking about the city's public school system. Eyewitness News anchor Bill Ritter has more on the candidates and their education platforms.
One candidate attended Canarsie Public High School in Brooklyn. Another went to school at the Archbishop Malloy Catholic School in Queens. And the third candidate for mayor went to Bronx Science, a specialized public high school. The three men now running for mayor of New York had three very different educational paths while growing up in the city. And not surprisingly, they also have three different ideas on how to run the largest public school system in the country.
I remain opposed to mayoral control.
Don't give up mayoral control.
Supporters of mayoral control, like Andrew Cuomo, say the system promotes accountability and makes large citywide changes possible. Critics, like Zohran Mamdani, argue that mayoral control shuts teachers and parents out of the decision-making.
We need a system that understands teachers, students, parents as being part of the way in which we deliver the educational policy of this city.
That was Mr. Mamdani speaking in July as he received the endorsement of the powerful United Federation of Teachers Union. Of course, New York has many unique aspects to its educational system. No surprise when a system with a more than $40 billion budget. That's more money than the budgets of 31 states. The city's specialized high schools use an exam to determine admission. Mamdani, who, as we mentioned, attended a specialized high school, is in favor of keeping that exam. Curtis Sliwa also wants to keep the test. And Mr. Cuomo would not only keep the exam, but he also wants to double the number of specialized high schools from 9 to 18. And then there's the Gifted and Talented program, which offers spots to fewer than 5% of kindergarten students. If he's elected, Mamdani says he would immediately end that program, at least for kindergartners. His opponents, well, they disagree.
You take away gifted and talented program, the one possibility that your child might get a really first-class education in public schools goes with it.
I would not only maintain gifted and talented because I saw it up close and personal, I would expand it.
3 different candidates, 3 different visions. The lives of more than 900,000 kids are at stake. Bill Ritter, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Less than a week to go to make up your mind. I'm Sade Better-Wall. Full coverage of all the big races ahead of Election Day on ABC 7 NY.